Okay, so it's been a while since I've made a video. By the way, hello Breakfast Club. My habitual username here is YamiKaiba123. For you of my generation, you can probably guess that it's a name that I invented when I was quite young. So, anyway, this is, I'm following up parachuting in Wayne's video. He happened to talk about something that was kind of indirectly on my mind as to how I'm going to treat it. He said that he wanted to talk about the shootings in his next video. And so I guess maybe I will serve here as a segue to that topic. I don't want to talk about the shootings as themselves, but of course I encourage you to do so. By the way, I brought this here as a carrot on a stick, if you will. I promised it to myself if I got myself out the door with the camera to get this video done. Anyway, so this. What I want to talk about principally is maybe something I can call mutually exclusive paradigms or non-interacting paradigms or something like that. And what comes to mind most readily is when I was for the first time involving myself in my country's politics, that being Canada, and watching the federal debates with the different parties. And what kind of made me aghast was that two questions, each one being asked at a debate in two faraway provinces. One being in the province of Quebec, in which the people running for Prime Minister were asked, the price on oil is too high. What will your administration do to solve this problem? Now, by itself, this would not be absurd. But then in Alberta, the debate that they held in Alberta, nearly on the other side of the country, they were asked in the debate, the price on oil is too low. What is your administration going to do to solve this problem? Now, maybe you do know this or you don't know this, but Alberta is our province that dishes out the most oil as one of their natural resources. And furthermore, I don't remember exactly what kind of answers the different parties gave, but I'm quite confident that all of them responded to either of these questions in the most cordial way, but also participating in the paradigm or the mindset in which it was asked, which are mutually exclusive and absurd when put next to each other. As if both of these opposite problems were of equal importance and each need to earnestly be addressed and solved. Now, this brings me to this shooting here. Now, more recently, I've been paying a little bit of attention to this stuff that's been happening. There was a cop shooting. This is dripping. I need to hurry up with this. Now, as usual in the United States, there was a shooting done by cops. I read execution style of a dark-skinned person of African American persuasion. Sorry, I was just having a conversation the other day about how I'm annoyed with the terms black and white, and how I suspect that they were invented by racist people trying to sharply divide people of apparent ethnicity, or whatever you want to call it. In any case, you can imagine the things that follow, people talking about guns, people talking about police and reform of either one, and racism. But then what happened soon after is some kind of public showing of solidarity, of people protesting, I guess, police brutality And in this place, the police were with the protesters. They were standing by in support of them. And then what happened is that someone shot into the crowd. I don't remember if any non-police officers were shot and killed, but I do know that a few of the police were targeted and were shot, and I believe killed. And when I heard that the person, that the shooter was black, I rolled my eyes and I said, now I'm never going to hear the end of it from these neocons and their narrative about how Black Lives Matter is some kind of terrorist hate group. And this is where I come full circle to my topic about non-interacting narratives or mutually exclusive paradigms. And this is this bizarre. And when I noticed this, I was writing this on a YouTube comment, this rolling eyes thought, on a video probably with a lot of people that would identify them as liberals in the American sense. And I just kind of paused before I wrote it, or while I was reading it, and I wondered, is this going to make sense to any of the people that will read this comment? Because it struck me, just as much as it did the first time I encountered this narrative, this counter Black Lives Matter narrative, in that it just seems to be so divorced. And I don't want to use the term out of touch, because I think usually when people use the word out of touch, they use it in a vacuum, and it's like, okay, this person is out of touch, or that point of view is out of touch. And I think the implication is that they're out of touch of reality, or some kind of objective standard, or objective shared common sense, or common truth. Where what I wanted to talk about here is out of touch between each other, out of touch with other people that are also out of touch, but in a relative sense, not in an absolute objective sense. There are narratives that are so shockingly contradictory that there's just an absurdity when you look at them side by side. And I wonder what the implications are today. I mean, I guess the only way I could have even come upon this problem or issue is in the age of the internet, where people from very different parts of the world, very different kinds of people, can run into each other's ideas, since many of these are published publicly. And then there's the other thought of how there can be such a stark contrast. I mean, this isn't even contrast. These are paradigms which don't even seem to have any interaction with each other, because none of their illustrations seem to be informed even by the very idea that there are people who subscribe to something that's contradictory. Because at least when people are arguing, there's some kind of, okay, these people think this, but they're wrong. Here's what I think instead, and these are the facts that support. No, it's like there's this paradigm that's presented. It doesn't even seem, it's as if you were to go to a different planet and see some opinion that is believed on that planet. And then you fly to some other planet and you see some opinion that is held on that planet. It's as if these narratives have not even clashed, have not even seen one another. This is how stark the difference is. And so one would think that on the age of the internet, you wouldn't see something like this. But then again, what can I expect? My first example were politicians that were asked the two questions within a week of one another. And they themselves spoke as though each one were asked and not the other. So I think that's enough to start a conversation, or to at least ask the question that I'm asking. That's it for my stick. I believe it did its job.